Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Welcome to CraftStash Live, and it's my own launch today, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I've put the microphone to the side because I'm going to be doing lots of rustling around. So if you need me to turn it up, give me a shout. I know the intro video, I think, is usually quite loud, so some of you may turn your volume down when that comes on. You need to turn it up now. We're here. How are you all anyway? Have you had a lovely week? Nice long weekend as well. Good afternoon to Deborah Plowman. She says hello. Afternoon Lou and everyone. And Anita Snell, hello to you. You're looking forward to this collection. Yeah, I've been so excited about this one. When I first saw it, so we obviously get the products a long way ahead of everybody else. And when I first saw the items, I was like, yes, I was so excited. Zoe Hope, no, there's no bundle offer this time because there's only 6 items, and one of them, you can see the deal there already actually, one of them you can get free anyway. So if you're spending today on the new bookshop collection over £30, you can then pop the Ephemera. I don't think you actually have to pop it into your basket. I think if you go through to checkout, it will automatically pop up and say, do you want to add the Ephemera itself anyway, for free. Okay, and that's the $5.49 item. But if you just want to dip your toes in a little bit, you can just buy the Ephemera on its own. Obviously, if you are going over £30 to get the free Ephemera, you then qualify for free delivery in the UK. So everyone's a winner. Let me see. Hello, perfect sound. Thank you very much, Hilary. How are you? Jackie Drake, hello to you as well. And Anne, lots of you joining. Thank you so much. I'm going to be doing lots of demonstrations, so I hope you've got a nice hot or cold drink, whichever, depending on the weather. It's actually quite nice here today. You know, it's not too hot, but it's sunny, so the last little bits of summer creeping in here today. Hello to Anne-Marie as well. How are you? I will pop over to YouTube as well, and hello to lots of you here. Lots and lots of you. Hello, sorry. Fifi Stamper, thank you for joining us every week, as you do. Sabine, hi to you as well. I thought I couldn't make today's live, but yeah, her appointment's finished early, so she's made it. Fabulous. So glad to have you here. Shall we dive right in? As I say, I do have lots of demonstrations to do. In fact, I've got kind of 4. They're not all really long cards, but 4 things I want to show you today. So that is more than going to fill an hour. So I hope none of you have to rush off. But if you do, you can always catch up on YouTube and on Facebook. The videos will remain here for as long as we can keep them there. As long as none of the platforms decide to disappear in a few years' time, they will be there for you. I've also obviously got an intro to this on my own YouTube channel as well, and I'll do lots of tutorials and videos for there and for the CraftStash YouTube too. So lots for you to see. There's going to be actually some little tiny videos uploaded to the product pages on CraftStash as well. Lots going on. Now, inspiration wise, I have to thank Marta. She has made some beautiful cards for me, which are in and amongst these, and she's also made some others. Didn't have time to get the photos here for you, but she will be able to share those on her Drop of Sunshine pages and such. So go and find Marta. I'm sure she will be in the chat somewhere, and she can give you links to those and share pictures there. So come on down to my desk because I'm all giddy and excited. It's nice to get back to launching. I had a nice big break where I didn't launch for a little while because I was getting ready. I've now got, I want to say 5, 6, 7 collections all in the pipeline, all planned and sent off and ready. So yeah, this is really exciting to actually start now launching these again. So Bookshop, what is Bookshop all about? It's all about books. It is all about books. I am a book lover. I suppose my love of books started not in school, but a little bit later on, probably once I had children and I needed that time away to relax and do something quietly. And yeah, picking up a book was just so therapeutic to sit, and I found I just drifted away. If I watch a TV program or anything like that, other people are watching it with you, and they kind of get involved as well, don't they? But in a book, it's just you and the book, and that's what I love about it. I've got tattoos that have book quotes on them. My all-time favourite is To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee, and obviously the sequels as well. But that was one I studied in school. And I must admit, when I was in school, I did not appreciate the book, but once I read it again as an adult, I really understood it thoroughly, and I loved it. And I've read it probably 100 times more, well, probably not that many times, 10 times more since. And of course the Harry Potter books. I suppose that's where I really started getting into books more. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the actual book dies. There's actually 10 books but sorry, 10 dies, but 8 books. The reason being, these are all of them just cut and put onto card for you so you can see them. Each one has got a different detail, and then there's a couple of them that are plain for you, but the others all have detail, as in stencil detail, embossing detail on there. These two are 2-piece, which is why you've got 8 books but 10 die pieces, because these ones you cut the ivory shape, so the pages, and then you cut the cover separately and adhere the two together. So let's see these in action. As you can see, they're a good size as well. So this is what they look like, and can you see why I wanted birds with? I just think, I know the bird is oversized, it's a fun character, it's not supposed to be a realistic in comparison, but yeah, I love that you can stack these books, you can pile them up, you can have them as if they're leaning on a bookshelf, you could fill a background, you can make a border with them, whatever you want to. And I also love book print too, which you'll see coming into lots of these elements, which I'll show you throughout the hour. So this is one that Marta made as well, so love that. She's got the embossing detail in there and picked that out with some, I think they're like oxides, but Marta will be able to tell you, and a fun background on there too. So they are the book dies. They're all about, I've got a feeling they're $15.99. 15, by the way, in case anyone panics, because I almost said 50. $15.99. So there's half of your £30 already. I will go back and recap that offer before I start demonstrating for those of you who have just joined us, and I will tell you how you can win the complete collection in a little while. But if you are wanting to grab this, I've got to tell you actually, everybody, when I checked before we came live, nearly half the stock had already gone. Okay, so we don't get masses and masses of stocks. Well, actually, no, we do. We did with this one. The half's gone already. That's quick. So if you do want to secure yours and put it in the basket, by all means do that. If you are today's winner, we'll just refund you your order. So don't worry about that. You're not going to end up with 2 collections. So these are the birdies. So the layered birds. I wanted layering dies. I wanted birds that were easy to chop and change, mix and match, add the colours, personalise, but I didn't want to make them complicated. So each bird just has a few elements. So the beak, the eyes, the legs are the same for both. You've got different wings for each one. You've got the breast on one, you've got sort of the headdress and the eye patch as such for the other. This one does have a beak, but it's black, so you can't quite see it. But you can mix them, you can swap them around. So you can put the eye on this one, the chest on this one, you can switch the wings. Oh, the tails as well, they're different shapes. So you can see they're really good fun. Now on the reverse of these, you've got, it's kind of like decoupage by letters, not numbers. So I've just added here which bits are which to help you put them together for the first time or two, but honestly you'll be flying. Once you've made one or two, you'll be well away making birdies all over the place. I love putting them together like this. I'm going to make a card similar to this because this one's been extremely popular on social media. So I thought I'll remake this today for today's demo, but it will be different, so it won't be exactly the same. But I will be building the birds and I will be creating that background as well. So there's one. This one is a Christmassy theme, so I've made the bird into a robin. You can absolutely do that as well. Any bird you like. If you want to add some yellow into the blue, you can make them into blue tits. I don't know many other birds, I must admit. Blue tits and robins are kind of like my go-to if I'm talking about birds. I'm not a switcher, but I do love to watch birds even if I don't know what they are. So can you see here as well, we've got a little bit of twine at the top here, just going over this tag. The background are stamps from the collection. This floral is a stamp from the collection, so keep tuned if you're liking all of these. Again, here's one from Marta. I love that she's got the bird just resting there on the torn piece with the sentiment underneath. Absolutely love that. This is really on trend at the moment as well, isn't it? This kind of tearing back. I see that quite a lot. So Marta, if you haven't done already, you probably need to do a tutorial for that one. But yeah, and I love the different colours she's used there, really mixed them up. Then, oh, there's one more with the books as well as the bird on top too. And you can make your bird look more feminine, so I've used a pinky colour paper here, and I've added, I don't know if you can just see that, I've added little eyelashes to her too. So you can do all that. Right, let's bring in some more items. I couldn't bring it all in at once because the pile was wobbling, just like a stack of books wobbling. Before I go through these items, I will just say a quick hello to people because I don't like to leave you hanging. If you are commenting, I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. Let's come to the end. Let's see. Lynn Hodson, fab bird dies. I can see a robin and a blue tip. Yeah, absolutely. Is that? Is that what I just said? Do you say that before me? I don't know. I'm not sure when you put this. Yeah, like the piecing dies, it gives you so many choices. It does. And can you imagine as well cutting these from felt? If you've got metal shim, cut them from felt, cut them from foam, make stamps with them as well. You can do all cotton too, do applique, because they're quite nice bold shapes. Obviously the legs, the beaks, the eyes are tiny, but you can use other things for those. Kathy says, what an awesome set. Debbie says, magpies and pigeons are the only birds I see in my garden. I think they scare the others away. Yeah, I know. Do you know what? Here we go. Let's set the competition now. What is your favourite bird? That's all I want to know. In the comments, tell me. I know it's not book related. I tell you what, bonus points if you can think of a bird that's a character in a book. There we go. But just tell me what's your favourite bird, and I will choose towards the end. I'll choose from the comments. I'll scroll all the way to the top, so don't worry about being the last to comment, and I'll pick somebody to win the entire collection. How's that? Yeah. Okay, let's come back and see the next few items in the collection. So they're the books and the birds we've been through already. Let's have a look. Now, this one is in the lead at the moment for how many have sold, unbelievably. Or not unbelievably. I mean, there's got to be someone in the lead, hasn't there? I'll just pop that to the side a moment. So this is a double stamp set, 2 A5 stamp sets. So I'll just show you what you're getting. You're getting this beautiful, one of my favourite ever so far texture stamps is this. It is a dictionary book page. It's from the L's, so it's had to be, didn't it? Because Louise would be in there, Lou would be in there. But lovely and lucrative. So you've got lovely, you've got loving in there, you've got, what else did I see in there? Loveliness, lucky, luck, loyally. So you've got words that you would actually use on cards. I was very careful to make sure there weren't any words within the choice that I used that you wouldn't want on a card. Okay, so you've got all sorts in here. Lucrative as well, if you'd like to put lucrative on your cards. So we've got that one. Now that obviously fades into the middle. You see I've got lots of ink on my stamp already, but you've got the faded out centre there for a reason, because then any one of these 3 images will fit on. So these are your additional pieces, which is your typewriter, your stack of books, and your floral piece. You've seen these actually probably already, as I showed you with the robin. I had him sitting on the branch of flowers, and you will see others as I go through the example cards using just these on their own. But when you're not using them on their own, they're built to sit inside that. Now this is just simply stamped in black. Imagine, and I'm going to show you actually, but I was going to say imagine this as a vintage book page with some ink distressing over it as well. So you've got the flowers in there, you've got the typewriter in there as well. Look, for a masculine card, how perfect is that? Wonderful. And then you've got the books as well. It just, the centre just fades out to make the centerpiece stand out. And if you don't want to use any of the 3 images, you can put butterflies in there, you can put a vintage car in there. It's completely your choice. If it's someone moving house, you could put a picture of a house in it. You know, this is why I wanted them separate and not just one stamp with the image already in the middle. So it's got so much versatility. So let's have a look. We don't have to do A5 cards with them as well. I just give you the option of A5 background, so you can then make that smaller if you want to suit the sort of size that you want. Because if you do 6 by 6, you're still going to fit this onto a 6 by 6 card, and so on. So there I've got the typewriter stamped in black. Around the edge I've got white embossing with that background stamp there. And then what I've done is I've re-stamped the typewriter onto some white card, cut out the top, added a sentiment. These bits are coming up in a moment, so you'll see those. Here, these again are lots of elements that come from the rest of the collection. Everything comes from the rest of the collection. But the books are the books alone. I just stamped those. I coloured them in with alcohol pens, and then I fussy cut them out, and it didn't take long at all. How cool do they look? And then just, this is a really good example of how I intended this book page to be. So nice faded and distressed book page in the background, fading out in the middle to leave the way for this flower to be the focal point in the middle. It looks like a floral identification book, doesn't it? It's just absolutely fantastic. And of course you could build it up with lots of other stamps around the edge, more inking and things. I splattered, because I did the stamping in the distress inks, I splattered with a bit of water to give it these marks. It almost look like tea or coffee stains, and like it's an old piece of paper that's not been looked after. Yeah, really love that, because I don't really like tearing up books, not as a habit. So Yeah, so you've now got the ability to create your own book pages, and there's so many other ways you're going to be using those. Now, another set we've got is this one. Now, this is the layered heart die set. I'm in love with this, and the more I use it, the more I find how versatile it is, and that you can really, really use it for any occasion imaginable. So because it's a heart, obviously it just says love. The words on it don't mean anything. They're not random letters, but all they are is a piece of text that I found that was really generic, and I just took a snippet from there. So you've got the word under, drinks, tasted, light, sun, and hands, when. So there's nothing that says Christmas, birthday, anniversary, baby, or anything like that. The idea is they were just supposed to layer up to look like texture. That's all. Texture. That's what textures is all about. Using text, using fonts to create texture. So you've got the heart on its own as a solid die, and you've got the border isn't straight, so you've got a little bit of distressing to that. Then you've got this die on its own that you can use completely separately as well, but when you layer them up you get this look. Now, included with this die set, we've also got the twine, the paperclip, and the 2 pieces of notebook edging. The reason I've given you 2 is because one of them cuts out this rectangle here all the way along the edge with the holes in. This one just cuts into the middle of your cardstock. So if you wanted a hole punched edge as such, but running around the edge of your cardstock all 4 sides, and you didn't want to be cutting and gluing these on, you can do that. If you want just a crisscross across the middle of your page, you can do that with this one. And that's what the twine looks like, and that's what the paperclip looks like. And you wouldn't believe how handy they are, how many times I'm reaching for these elements. So thank you so much. I can see all your comments coming through. Thank you so much. I will go back and just read those before I start demonstrating everybody. That's how that heart looks on its own without anything else. It can be a background, or like this, it can really be a standout focal piece. So with this, I'm actually going to do something similar to this in one of the demonstrations, but completely different colours, much brighter. I'm going to sneeze soon. I'm sorry, I've had a cold, everybody, and I'm trying my best not to sneeze, but if it happens, it happens. So you just have to mind your ears if you do, because it's going to probably sound quite loud. I can talk myself out of it, it's fine. So here I've used CraftStash adhesive foam. Honestly, one of the best inventions ever for card makers and paper crafters. I love it. And look how dimensional that heart now looks, along with some additional bits again. Now this is that notebook edge, so I'm just using it everywhere. Honestly, it gets used so much. This is just the centerpiece of the heart die. I've done an inked background, which I do a lot. I will do actually in some of these demonstrations, and I've just die cut this from white and glued it over. That's all. It looks like it's been stenciled or masked. It hasn't, it's the other way round. And a really simple contemporary bright card. This is one that Marta did, absolutely lovely. So she's paper pieced the letters back in. So she paper pieced pink letters back in there, and she's used the notebook as well, and in the background you'll see that's that stamp again. So all that text, distressed text in the back, that is the stamp that she used there. Have a little sniff. Still not going to sneeze, I'm all right. I'm getting there. Now these, again, I'm going to use these all the time, and not just for your main sentiments either. There's 8 sentiment stamps, sorry. And for these, I'm going to be using them for backgrounds a lot too, because I've found that actually they're a fantastic background. So they are all dictionary sentiments, so dictionary excerpts from a dictionary. We've got the word beautiful, the word time, forever, thankful, sympathy, celebrate, happy, and love. So just for example, I'll read some of the shorter ones out for you. So happy, you've got the phonetic spelling, then adjective. Delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing. And love, I do. Some of these phonetic spellings are absolutely hilarious. Forever is Fawrever. And when you look at it and say it out loud, it's like, actually, yes, that is how you say it. But sorry, love is a noun, a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection. Now, how sweet are these to put on a card? They're a really good size as well, as you can see. I've just stamped them all out there so you could read them clearly if you wanted to, but let's just look at the cards. So this is one where I took that other stamp set, that A5 double stamp set, and I've just done a little bit of masking to stamp the typewriter with the books in front and the large time sentiment in the background there. And then I've also used that twine in there. This is actually a notebook edging. So if you're wondering why they're square holes, this was actually torn out of a notepad, this piece of paper. So that's why that's like that. But I've added the twine in there as well. So a nice masculine card there. Something perfect for something like retirement maybe. I'm going to wipe my nose in a minute, everybody. So I'm not actually snivelling over you all. I apologise. I'm sure everybody's had similar recently. Or, excuse me, I'm going to wipe my nose while I'm talking. Family have all had the bugs going around. Now we're all out and about. Kids are back in school, aren't they? That's the trouble. They're all bringing things in. I know mine's because I went to look at a university with my daughter on Saturday. That's where I got it from. I'll blame that anyway. So you can see here Marta's created this card and she's used a variation of different words in the background and embossed them in gold. It looks gorgeous. And then the flower from the same stamp set, mixing and matching these. If you love stamping, that's absolutely perfect. And yeah, I really like, because these stamps are not perfectly square, they're staggered, so you can slot them in a bit like Tetris. You can slot them all into each other. Right, okay, one more thing to show you and then I'll get on to demonstrating. I will read some more comments quickly and then we'll demonstrate. Is the ephemera. Now this is going to be your freebie if you are purchasing over £30 worth of the new bookshop today. When you get to checkout, you're going to have the option to put the ephemera into your basket. So don't put it into your basket as you're adding to your basket. If you're going over £30, you think you will be, don't put the ephemera in. You'll be offered it at checkout. Okay, look, you've got all of these. I'm spreading them out. There's 20 pieces in total. Obviously, I've used some of mine on cards already. You've got that lovely library background there, that scene. You've got ones that look like books. These could just be a little note card on its own, couldn't it? You've got open books there. You've got, that's the flower that's in the stamp set. See, it all works together. I love this. I actually love this so much. I daren't use it. Do you get that? When you have something you like so much you don't want to use it, well, actually, you should be using it. But yeah, that's a library card there. Let's take a look at some of these. So again, this is one Marta did, where she's put the typewriter just in the middle there with a whole mix of different ephemera and different pieces from the rest of the collection. Then we've got the typewriter and some books laid underneath. There's that layering heart and the twine and the book page stamped in the background. So it just all works so well together. So let's just clean these up and then I will pop and have a look at the comments before we start demonstrating. I've got so much demonstrating to do and I've just spent an awful long time going through the product. I apologise, everybody. Let's get moving very quickly on this. Let's put these to the side. I don't think I need those today, so just come to me very quickly. I don't want to leave you hanging. So let's see, who have we got here? Laura, her favourite bird is a cardinal. Not only is it the mascot of her favourite team, and they're beautiful as well. It has a lovely song and is actually a predator, is it? I didn't know many birds were predators. I know like hawks and things like that, but I didn't know many of them are. Oh, Sabine's also got a cold. I know there's so many. And Marta is in the chat. She's over on YouTube if you want to go and chat to Marta as well. Thank you for joining us. I know Sam's watching as well. Someone, I haven't seen your comment yet because I've not been looking, but I'm sure you're there. You told me you would be, so you better be. And Marie, hello to you and hello to CraftStash as well. She says, Debbie Main, the collection's stunning. Thank you so, so much. Jasmine says she calls that paralysed by pretty. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about there. I'll have to read back, won't I? But thank you anyway. It sounds like a lovely comment. So, okay, so if you want to enter to win this collection, if you're just joining us, all you need to do is comment what is your favourite bird, and if I see a comment where you're actually relating the bird to a book, bonus points for you somehow. I don't really have time to add these up. I'll just go for a random comment. But yeah, I'd love to know what your favourite bird is, because I am adding characters to more and more of these textures brands or textures collections as I go through them. So the next collection's got 2 characters in, which I'm really excited about those as well. They're really good fun. Don't think they're quite mixed with the birds, and you'll see why when we get there. Okay, come on down to my desk. Now, oh, before I go actually, I'm not going before we come down to my desk. Free ephemera if you're spending over £30 on the new bookshop collection. Should be offered to you at checkout there. So when you go to checkout with more than £30 of the collection, in your basket it will pop up and say, would you like to add this for free? And if you're doing that, you're then going to get your free delivery anyway if you're in the UK. Okay, let's get started with the fun bit. I'm just going to try and push everything to the side a little bit. These are the bird dies. Now what I've done is I've taped them all together. I've taped them all together because here they are. Here's all the pieces you need to make 2 birds. Now what I've got is a piece of wax paper with a bit of repositionable glue on, just to keep them all in one piece, because I knew that otherwise I would get to the live and I'd be missing an eye or something, and the poor bird doesn't deserve that. So we're going to start by doing some ink blending first of all. So I'll put the dies up there, I'll explain those in a little while. Let's see, so my favourite colours at the moment to blend together are blues and browns. Absolutely in love with them. Uncharted Mariner is one and Brushed Corduroy is another. They look stunning. We could bring in, oh no, because I didn't get the brush down, so let's just stick with these. So Uncharted Mariner is the most recent Distress Oxide. You know, there must be a new colour due out soon, mustn't there? Because it's been a little while since this one was released. Does anyone know? Is anyone aware of what Mr. Holtz is planning, or when the next one is due out? Because I need it. But this so far, this Uncharted Mariner is absolutely my favourite colour of all time. And I didn't think I'd say that about a recent colour. I thought it would be. So Peacock Feathers was probably the one before that. But really loving this. But another one I love as well, which I think is often not missed, but often we don't think about so much, is Iced Spruce. Particularly if you're doing Christmas cards and you just want a lovely soft green, it's wonderful. Okay, so I've just done this the wrong way, but never mind. I'm supposed to do it the other way. We'll be fine. We'll add blue this way. So there's my blues. Okay, now I do need to just give this a quick wipe because I don't want to put blue onto the yellow or the brown parts. So just wipe that off very quickly. There we go. And then let's come to the brown and let's get these mixes. So this is Brushed Corduroy, and these are oxides rather than inks. They're all available. I can't guarantee the colours are available, but Distress Inks and Distress Oxides are available on CraftStash at the moment. Bringing these 2 colours together in the middle, so literally overlapping them, and then once you've overlapped them, you can decide whether you need to go in with another one. So I'm actually going to do more of the Brushed Corduroy on this panel. The reason being is I'm going to be stamping my sentiment, and I want to ensure that I've got enough of the paler colour, which would be the yellow, there, gorgeous, to show the stamping up. So there's one of mine. I've got something sticky on here, and then let's do this side as well. And these colours they just work so well with the birds and the books, because kind of that vintage feel, a little bit of a masculine feel as well maybe. You can go for any colour you like. You saw through some of the examples, I actually went for quite bright colours at times. You can do that too. So it's a bigger panel. I could have done with a bigger brush really, but it is what it is. We're getting there. These oxides are really nice and juicy, so they do fill up quite quickly. Now usually what I do, once I've done my ink blending like this, I'll go in and I'll splatter with water. It's just something, the habit that I've got into, and it actually helps to hide any little discrepancies you may have within your ink blending, but I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to come back in with the blue and just try and blend the 2 together a little bit more. We're kind of getting a green in the middle there. Hopefully you can make that out. A bit down the bottom, aren't I? So I might take a little more blue and just spread that around like so. Then come back to this line and blend it, and this line, and just work the 2 colours together. And of course yellow and blue make green. So where I've got, it's not absolutely perfect, I could keep working and working at that, but I'm going to be doing something else to it, so I'm not worried. I'll just clean my mat. If you've ever watched me before, hello if you're new, but if you've ever watched me before, I do clean as I go, and you know that, so then I can keep on top of things, and I don't go and put something like brown ink on a lovely white piece of paper. Okay, so the next bit is to add some texture to this. Where I would usually do my splatting, do you know what? I haven't got my stamping platform out. That's really bad. Now, where is my stamping platform? I have 2 of them and they're hiding somewhere. There's one. Is that one? Yes, that is one. Excuse me, I'm just rummaging around in my craft. There's always something. Always forget something. Today it was the stamping platform, and that's my squeaky chair. I've still not fixed it. Now, because I want this to stay still, but I want to cover the entire area with my stamp, I'm just going to put a little bit of double-sided, or not double-sided, but a little bit of low-tack tape on the back. I'm going to fold it over so it is double-sided. Just on the back of the paper. Pop it in the middle. There we go. Now let's get this gorgeous book page stamp set out. You can see all the details, everybody. If you want to have a link directly to all the products to have a look at them and the prices and things like that, you can see them all in the comment. They're pinned. The links are pinned, so you find those. Now, this is a really large stamp, so you do need a bigger stamping platform. I've just put that into the middle of my cardstock. What you find, this centerpiece here tends to get air under it. So once you've got it in position, it's on your platform, just hold it down, lift up so the oval comes up, and then roll it back down again, just to release any air that's under there. It's just how it is when it picks up. Now, I'm just going to spritz this stamp with water. I'm going to pick up a bit from the middle as well, a little bit, and I'm just going to pop this over and stamp that water onto all of that lovely Distress Oxide. Okay. I tell you, it'll be a miracle if I can get through this without sneezing. I keep feeling like I'm going to sneeze. There we go. Can you see what started to happen? All that text has started to come up white. Now I'm just going to dry this off. A little bit of hair or something there. And you can add more water and you can do that again if you want to. As it dries, you tend to find you get more and more of the colour lift. And I want a distress look. I don't want it perfect. I don't need to be able to read the writing. It's just a text. It's just a texture. It's just a background. There we go. I'll stamp this properly in a little while. In fact, I'll just leave it in. I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to use this again in a moment. So there's that background. I don't need to do it to this one. And let's start building a card up. We'll put the birds together next. So I've got 2 card bases. I believe these are 6x6. I'll double check that. Yes, almost 6x6. So I'm going to glue them together. So 2 of the pages are going to be glued together to create an easel card. It's the quickest for me. It's the quickest and easiest way to create an easel card. If you don't mind that you're doubling up your material on the back panel. So it makes it a little bit heavier, but I find it's a really good way of using up cards where the edges have become dog-eared. And sometimes you just have those card bases, you don't want to use them or you want to trim them down because the corners have caught on something. This is the perfect way to use them because you use them on the inside. And then people never know. And you've got yourself a nice sturdy easel card there. Okay, now I have cut myself, sorry, I should finish that sentence. I have cut myself a piece of black paint. Not I have cut myself, that's not what I meant at all. So a little bit of black that's ever so slightly larger than this square here. Hoping I've got that on the right way. Looks right to me. So a very slight black border on there. And then this can go onto the top or the front of the card. Just like so. There we go. So the initial square panel that I was inking was probably around about 5 inches square, and then slightly larger for the back panel. Now I'm not going to put this one on just yet because I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto that in a moment, or once I've put these birds together to finish the card off. So I can put the black on there instead, leaving a similar sort of border. There we go. So I've got my base ready now. Okay, I just wanted to show you how I did the background for that, and this will sit on there as well. Okay, it doesn't matter too much that I did the inking the wrong way, does it? Now let's put together one of these, or two of these birds in fact. So what I've done is as I said, I taped all my dies together and I run this through lots and lots and lots of different colours at a time. In fact, I'm just going to show you my box. Here I've got, let's just take my ready-made birds out. I've got a few in there that I've already put together. I've got all the pieces. Now this has been tipped over by accident, but they were all sorted. So I've got wings in there, legs in there, eyes and beaks in there, the other wings in there, headdresses, chest pieces, full bodies in here, and so on and so forth, from all the different colours. So I can just sit, and that's an old crocodile box. So I can just sit and pick those out whenever I need to make one of these birds up. But I've got them all here. I've laid them out, like I say, wax paper with repositionable glue on. I'm going to start adding some texture to these. So let's bring this stamp back in. I'm going to put some of this brushed core dry, just to keep the colours similar, onto this stamp. I'm just going to turn over each of the bodies and the wings. There we go. So just adding a little bit to the light blue pieces. And I can put them back here for now, just so I know where they're going. There we go. Doesn't matter if it's only a little bit of text, if it didn't pick up quite as much as you hoped, it's fine, it doesn't matter. And one more piece here. Oops. There we go. Let's do a little bit more on there. Now for these dark blue ones, obviously this isn't going to show up. Now you can, if you've got the time and the patience, you can do that in white instead if you want to. I'm going to take a little bit of distress spray. Let's just bring this and do some spritz there. That doesn't matter. Let's pop this back, because then that can have a little bit of white spritz on as well. I tend to make sure that if I'm spritzing things or whatever it may be, that they've all got the same look, the similar look. Nothing gets left out. So let's just quickly dry these off. I'm going to take that away from this beak. Needs to be black, so I'm going to take the white off of that, or grey at least. And the rest of these can just dry. So you'll see the white on the darker blue. You won't see it as much on the pale blue. It gives it a little bit of texture. I just want to dry it so I don't smudge anything while I'm working and gluing them down. Let's take this plastic out now. There we go. I think they are just about dry enough. And before I go ahead and do anything else, I'm just going to ink around the edges. So let's do one little birdie first. So just inking with brown around the edge. You can do it as pale or as dark as you like. I find the darker you do it, the more kind of texture you get. So around the edge of all the pieces, except of course the tiny little fiddly, the eyes and the legs. You don't want to be really inking around those. That would take you a little while. So now that's the chest area. So this one goes this bird. Right, okay, let's put the first one together. Tweezers are handy here, just so while you're holding and positioning things, I find. Now this one's super easy. So we've got the chest area here, so it's got a nice curve. It's actually upside down. It's got a nice curve to the chest, and then this shape fits perfectly on the edge of the bird there. So a little bit of glue. I can't see any comments. My phone's turned itself off, so I hope you're still all okay and with me. And I'm not just talking to myself. There's the chest. So the tail, you need to pop a little bit of glue on the front, so you can pop it underneath the bird's body there. I'm just going to grab my phone, make sure you're all still there and still okay. I don't know why it's decided to turn itself. Oh yeah, you're still there, yay. Nikki, thank you. She loves this set. She says gorgeous. I'll keep that on. Now you've got the option with the wings. You can put them up if you want them jumping around or flying, or you can put them down. So completely up to you which way you do that one. So let's put this one down there. Let's give this little bird an eye. Do you know, once you put the eyes and the beak on, they come to life. Honestly, it's that bit that really makes these. So there's one. Then you have the black piece for the centre of the eye, and it's not just a little circle. I mean, these would be really fun with googly eyes on. It's not just a little circle. It's got a little crescent cut out of it. There's the beak. Just pop the beak on as well. That beak went a bit grey, didn't it? And the legs as well. So the legs, little dab of glue to the front and tuck them under the peaks that you've got for the legs there. And the same on this one. The back one, you put a little bit shorter to give it dimension. There we go. So there's our first little bird. Let's just do the same with the other one as well. Great idea. Oh, what's the great idea? Lisa Tan says her favourite birds are owls and a tawny owl. Interesting fact, owls don't twit-twoo. The female twits and the males twoo to call each other. I love that. They don't all twit or twoo. They do one or the other. That's quite funny. My mum's favourite bird is a barn owl, actually, and I was lucky enough to spot a barn owl, well, twice actually, in the same sort of area near where I live, so I think it's probably the same one. I was actually driving the other night and I slammed on the brakes. I was on a country road, there was no one else around me, but I slammed on the brakes and I said to my daughter, look up there, and there was this barn owl just beautifully sitting. It was like an electricity wire, telephone wire, sorry, something like that. It was just sitting there looking down on the road, and I'd seen it because my headlights had picked it up a little way. It caught my eye, and as I approached it I realised that's definitely what it was. We get a lot of bats and things like that, but I realised it was. And then when I was out running I did see an owl. This was early morning that I saw it that time, so it was probably just finishing up for the night. Let's get this one put together as well. So tweezers, exactly the same, I've just inked around the edges. So now this one I'm going to start with the what I call the eye patch. So this is the eye patch. It's kind of like an egg shape, and this sits around about here, around about where you want the beak to be in the middle, and then the headdress. And you can opt to use any of these pieces or leave pieces out. It's entirely up to you. Headdress just sits over the top there, and it fits to the shape of that die cut, as you can see. Oh, wrong way. I'm getting carried away. I do this every time. The tail, I always put the glue in the wrong place. The glue on the tail and the legs needs to go on the front of the piece. And then again, the wing. See, this wing is a slightly different shape. It's more curved than this one. This overlaps the eye patch as such. Sits on there. Let's do the legs. So there's one. Here's another one. I had really good fun designing these, actually, looking at all different bird characters and working out how I wanted these to look. I wanted them to be realistic but fun. It was a tough one to get it just right, but I got there in the end. And again, I wanted them to be decoupage, but simple decoupage. I didn't want you thinking, oh, I don't know how to put these together, so I won't. I wanted you to enjoy putting them together and enjoy making all the different colours and themes and things. So this one, tiny little bit on the beak there, that's a brown beak, beautiful. And then I've got a piece of twine for this. So there's my second birdie. You can see how the colours are going to work really well with this card. So I'm going to place a piece of twine across the card like so. Again, using my detail glue. So this is cut from that set that has the layered heart in. I'm just going to pop glue along the strings, but not on the knots, so not on the tails or the rabbit ears of the bow, because I want to be able to lift those up. And so this bird will probably be sitting something like this, a little bit on the feet, and just lift up the front of that bow and tuck him in there. I had you tucked in nicely a minute ago when I just tried you out. And then this one, its little feet can just sit on the strings there, facing each other, just looking up. Really cute. looking up at the other, I was going to say rabbit because I just talked about rabbits. Almost kissing, look, almost kissing. Because I've not put the glue down all over, the edges kind of curl up, which I like that effect. Okay, let's finish. This is taking me ages today. I apologise. I hope you're all okay. Okay to carry on watching. If you want to come back and see more of the demonstrations that I do later on, if you've got to shoot off, by all means, of course, we'll have this on YouTube and on Facebook for as long as we possibly can keep them there, because we don't ever delete anything, but obviously who knows what's going to happen with social media in the future, but they'll be there as long as we possibly can have them there. Let's just grab my sentiment stamps. I think you've got to have the word love, haven't you, from the dictionary stamps here. Got to have the word love on here with these two birds. They're absolutely beautiful. Let's just pop that down at the side there. Now, I don't know where my magnets are. I've lost my magnets. They've got to be here somewhere. What a thing to look. Oh, I found them. Look, here they are. I just need one just to hold this still. There we go. A strange thing to lose, isn't it? They weren't. They were in my tool bag. For whatever reason, I must have taken them out or not used them. So pop that into the bottom corner of that blended piece. Let's use Memento, a nice sharp black ink. This is one of my older ones, so I might need to start over this a couple of times. And there we go. Lovely. I'm going to do it once more, just because I've now said I might have to, so I'm going to. A nice deep black. That's going to match the black that we've got around the borders. I'll clean that stamp up in a moment. Here we go. How much do you love them birds? I love them. I'm so... and Marie lost one as well, a magnet. Yeah. I've just completely lost what I was saying. I was saying something, but I just saw she's put, I lost one of mine in capitals, and that just distracted me. Deborah, great that they face in different directions. Yeah, I wanted that. So, but you can also flip your die cuts around, so that if you wanted the one that's sort of standing more upright to face the other way, you can do that. I'm sure I've got a card somewhere where I've done it on, and you just die cut it and flip it over, because they're really simple pieces. There's a little bit of embossing detail and stenciling detail. Can you see these? So you can ink through, if you want to, the detail on the wings and the chest, or on the bird it's the breast, isn't it? And the tummy and everything. You can ink that detail through as well. That's an additional piece I forgot to tell you about. So yeah, absolutely adoring these birds. I can't wait to bring you some more characters very soon. Just pop this on here. I've raised this up onto foam tape so that as an easel it will just work to hold there. And there we go. There is that card. If I hold it up, obviously it's going to fall, but there's that card. Really lovely. And it can be anything. It can be just a note. It could be anniversary, new baby, whatever. Obviously switch up your colours as you need to, but that's using lots of the elements so far. Now I'm going to very quickly move straight on to another demonstration, if that's okay with everybody, because I've got so much to get through and show you. This one's pretty quick. I've already die cut virtually everything for this card. It's a really lovely, quick, bright one. Thank you. So the die's cut both ways. No, it's just that you can cut the shape and just turn the actual die cut over. So if I just show you, sorry, no, they're not dies that cut both ways. So for example, this is the body of one of the birds facing that way, and you can just turn all your pieces over so then it would face that way. It won't look too good. By the time you've done your inking, you're not going to notice the beveled edge if you're going to be inking and such. That's all I do. So really, you've got lots of different shapes of birds, lots of different styles, because they all you can mix and match all the tails and the wings and put them in different shapes. Lift the wings up for flying birds and all sorts, which I'll do in a moment, actually, the flying birds. Right, so this is that heart die set. Now, I adore this. Let me just grab, if I can find it, the actual die set to show you. It's hiding in here somewhere. Oh, there we go, layered heart. That's this one here, the layered heart. And this one has the really handy embellishments with it as well. So I've got an inked background. If you saw me do the RSPB launched just recently, the Magic of Autumn, I actually did this live. I inked this background live, so I thought I'm not going to do it again because this is one of my spares left over from that show. So this is a very, very quick card if you've done the inking and all the die cutting, but I really like the bright bold colours of it, and it might be that this is more your style than the vintage colours. There we go. We're going to work with the books in a moment as well, and that book stamp, I need to do that too. So these are the two pieces. Now you can use any one of these on their own. If you just want a solid heart for any reason, you can use that. You can layer these together, and as you can see, I've chosen a cardstock that kind of matches the blue through the middle. But as you layer those together, you've got a little bit of texture. If you were to glue that on, you've got a little bit, but I'm going to make this really stand out. So I've also die cut that foam that I was talking about. This is the CraftStash adhesive foam. So I've used the black as well to give that drop shadow look. Now I've already popped this all out of the die. It die cuts beautifully. That's what it was intended to do. So it die cuts so just as well as cardstock, and you don't need to change your plate, although it's quite thick. The foam kind of does squish a little bit to fit through your die cut plates. So just taking the front off of this one, and I'm going to hold this up, so I kind of, to make sure that it doesn't stick down in the wrong place, I'm going to curve it up and just concentrate on the very bottom there and get that lined up. I might go a little bit quiet as I'm doing this, and then as I go down, just make sure it's fitting over everything perfectly. It's a nice solid shape, so the foam shouldn't distort at all. So I've then got that on there, and I can peel this backing off as well. The backing comes off really easily, but obviously we've cut into it, so you might have some little bits that just get left behind. And that can pop onto here. You can put a different colour behind if you like, absolutely. And look how much more that stands out, how bold that is now. I'm going to use, this is going to be awkward because I wanted to just twist this round. Bear with me, everybody. I'm just going to twist this round, but my microphone's on this twisty thing. So, oh no, it's the other way. I want my white, I just want my, there it is, picket fence, white picket fence. I've put it back away. Just going to brush over the top of this a little bit, just catching the edges, and just to make it a slightly, just a shade lighter than the teal colour underneath. Don't know if you can still hear me then because the microphone moved. Just pick out, you've got a little bit of white there, a little bit of paper stuck in there. There we go. That on there is gorgeous. I'm going to use foam tape to put this down to give it a drop shadow as well. There's one. So this is CraftStash foam tape, and just like the adhesive sheet, it sticks beautifully, it peels off beautifully. It's a dream to work with, and to be honest, when I do order them, I order 5 rolls of everything, all the measurements at a time. I order 5 sheets of black, 5 sheets of white at a time as well. Yeah, and you'll have to get this foam, absolutely. It's really good. So pop that in the centre there, raise that up, so we've got some beautiful dimension there. I mean, this heart is just, it's just a dream. I love it. So what I've done here is I've stamped one of the sentiment stamps from the collection. Again, I've used the word love just coincidentally because I've pre-stamped this onto black with some white, with some clear embossing ink and some white embossing powder. Now from this set, I'm going to take this one because, whoops, I'm going to show you how this works. Now let's do it in the top. So what I do is I look at my die and I work out which way are the torn pieces going, and whichever way they're going, you want to have that part facing, that edge facing up. And I tend to line it up with the top of the writing and just use a bit of tape to tack that down in place. Now, in case you're wondering about die size, every single one of the dies, I've just got my die cutting machine here, every single one of the dies in this collection will fit into your smaller Big Shot. So if you've got just the normal Big Shot and not Big Shot Plus, so what I call an A5 sort of size plate, so it's about 6-inch wide size plate, every single one of the dies, even the heart, all fit through there. And then just releasing this. lots of pieces which give me the GBs. I want to tidy up, but I will do that afterwards. No, I won't. Look at me. I just said I'll tidy up afterwards and then I start sweeping up. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut along the top of these holes. So just catch the top of the ones that are torn, and there you've got your notebook edge. For this, I'm just going to carefully tear along the bottom. If you'd rather score this first, then do that. But if you keep your fingers really close, you can usually guide exactly where your tear lines are going to go, and then just trim one and trim this edge as well. There we go. So love, a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection. And just to finish this off, I have got one of these paper clips. I'm going to tuck that just behind there. I'm going to glue or tape that. Let's tell you what, let's just put that in position and put a little bit of foam tape across the back, securing the paper clip in. You can put the paper clip the other way around, so the larger side is on the front if that's what you prefer. I prefer to have the smaller side, so the inside of the paper clip as such on the front and the larger bit on the back, and that's from just mirror card there. There we go. So there's another card. Quickly if you've already inked things and cut things, I do appreciate that. But yeah, there's another card for you using that. Very, very, very different in themes as well. You look at the styles and the colours and such. So another one, are you okay for another one? Let's do a very quick bit of stamping just to show you properly how the stamp set works. Because as I said, before I was live, this stamp set was the most popular. Not the sentiments one, the double stamp set, which is, I'm getting a bit of a pile here. This one, okay, so let's show you how to create that gorgeous kind of book page. Now, this is an A5 piece of watercolour cardstock. In fact, I think this actually came from Lou Withers' Papercraft Society box. She had some in there that it's just absolutely perfect. Now is that, just make sure my magnets are not in the way. Stick that down. Again, as I said, just ensure you've not got any air down the centre. Now you see I've got brown ink here. That's from where I was doing the bird. So I'm going to enhance that. I'm going to do some brown ink all around here. There we go. If you get any in the centre, it's a good idea to just dab it off, just in case, although if you've lifted it up and just released the air, you shouldn't have any raised bits anyway. I'm going to give this a spritz of water, light mist, and then I'm going to turn that over. Now this is an oxide, not an ink. The oxide doesn't spread or doesn't wick out as much as the inks do, so you could use an ink if you prefer, but you do still get sort of that bleeding effect or wicking effect. So I'm going to add a bit more water to this. You see that? And then straight away I'm going to dry this because I don't want it to go any further than it has done already. Keep this in the same place as much as you possibly can. There we go. Just drying the excess off of there. I've just put my finger on there, but never mind. And then I'm going to come in with Memento. Memento, no, Versifine. And I'm going to dab lightly with the Versifine, not too heavy. I'm going to come straight back over the top and just really add the detail to that ink. You see that we've got that lovely book page effect. So wiping this clean so I can put this away, keeping your paper in place. Let's now let's take the flowers. I think the flowers are beautiful. I really like that you can make this almost like an identification book page rather. I'm going to do exactly the same again now. So I'm going to go in with the brown ink first of all. Spritz the centre. There we go. just add all that lovely colour and make sure that wicks out a little bit. This is one of my favourite stamping techniques. I just love the old vintage look, and I'll try and get a photo of this later to show you. In some areas where the ink has really bled out, you can see lots of colour obviously, but where it's not so prominent, you've just got a slight brown hue just peeking out from underneath the black stamping, which is gorgeous. You make it look so easy. Thank you. What does the water do again? So it actually makes this, because I'm using water-based inks, it makes the water spread and wick out and bleed out and just move around a little bit. Then I dry it so it's in place. And then the black doesn't react with the water. So the black then adds that detail back into the stamp. So you get the two tones. So you get the faded brown in the background, almost a bit like wood burning, I guess. Let's just make sure that that is all pressed down. This is the beauty of a stamping platform. Look at that. So then you've got the flower in the middle as well. Gorgeous. So there's your book page. But to finish this off, I'm going to bring back this brush corduroy. No, that's the wrong one. Here it is. I'm getting messy, everybody. There we go. Have you all entered to win? Because I will need to be picking that at the end. I'm picking somebody to win the entire collection if you're just joining me. That will be in, well, I've got one more quick card to put together for you all with the books. So all you need to do is write in the comments which is your favourite bird. So let me know which your favourite bird is. So I'm going around the edge with the same brown as I did the stamping with. You don't have to do this much ink as well if you'd rather not. And then I'm just going to go round once more a little bit with ground espresso, which is ever so slightly darker, but I'm going to really stick to just the very edges here. Just the tiniest bit of the edges. And if you want to take a colour, so some pencil crayons or something, and go into that flower, I just dabbed my finger instead of the brush. I don't know what I'm thinking. So if you want to colour in the flower, you can do that. I did it on one of my cards and put glossy accents on. It wasn't actually glossy accents, it was actually the Made Surprise glaze, accent glaze. There you go. So there's how you build up a vintage book page. Now this can be your background, or it can just completely be your focal point if you want it to be. I've used a lot of brown ink on there. You can make this so it's not quite so colourful if you want to. Right, okay, last card, everybody. Thank you so much for all your comments. Linda said her favourite bird is the robin, which has just started visiting again. Yes, that time of year now, isn't it? Hasn't it got cold the last few days? Hasn't it got chilly? I think so anyway. I really do. It's much colder than it was. Let's put together one more quick card. I have one of the birds already made up here, exactly the same way as I did earlier with the birds. So stamping into the paper, just with that text stamp, inking around the edges and putting it together. I've put it together so that the wing is up, so it looks like it's flying. Then I've got my books. Now I haven't actually talked about these very much, have I? And the whole collection's called Bookshop, but I've got a stack of books here. Just some of them I've die cut from different colours and things. I can't unfortunately have the open book in this pile, and you'll see why in a moment. But I'm going to stack these up. I'm going to put them upside down and just alternate them all in a pile. They need to be reasonably even and on top of each other. Let's go this one. So some of these dies have embossing elements to them, but it also means that you can stencil through the dies as well. Whoops, they've got to be reasonably straight. You'll see why it'll all become clear in a moment. Let's put that there, and then I'm going to take, let's take the thick wide foam tape, CraftStash. This is the thickest one that they do besides the sheets. Cut myself a piece of tape that's about, look at this, look at that, magnets sticking to my scissors. They get everywhere. Okay, and then I'm going to put this down onto oops, it didn't quite reach them in the middle. There we go. And you can just straighten them up if you need to. So there's my books all stacked together. Don't they look great? Once you turn them over, you think, oh, actually, yeah. So each of these, I inked around the edges. I stenciled or I drew with gold or white pen through. I added fake text on there with a white gel pen. And can you see this brown maroon one? As I shine the light on it, it's got embossing details to it as well, especially in something like Hunky Dory's Adorable Scorable. That works really well. So then I'm going to wrap a piece of twine around that. Let me see. Janine says, forget digital books, have to have a book in your hand. Absolutely, I must admit, I know there is a digital book reader I had once. Yeah, it wasn't the same. I know when you go on holiday, the sunlight on the screen and all this stuff, but just having a book and the smell of a book as well is it's just different, isn't it, to anything else. So this is the twine die. You can see I've just cut that quickly. This is going to sit around these books. So it's going to be wrapping those up. Do you remember the times we used to get newspapers wrapped with a bit of string? Do they still do that? I'm not sure. I used to work in a newsagent's and I used to have to break the string. It was kind of a plasticky string by then, but we used to have to break them apart. And they really hurt my hands. I should have used scissors really. But just using a precision glue applicator, just going up both of the twines. Again, I'm just going to leave the rabbit ears and the tails of that bow. Oops, don't drop it. Free. Let's put this around the middle, because you would, wouldn't you? If you were wrapping some books up, you would wrap around the middle. You see how I measured the books first to make sure that the twine would fit. So if you need to remove some books or add some, you can make sure you've got the right kind of size stack. If you're better to go a little bit smaller with your books and then wrap the ends of your twine around them if you need to. Let's just take a little bit of tumbled glass, just a touch, and just add a little bit to the front of this card base. This is a DL card base. I'm not doing a lot of this, just enough to give a bit of colour in the background. So tumbled glass, one of the blending brushes from CraftStash. There we go. There, that's enough just to add a touch of colour in the background. If you want to do your ink splatting things, you can do that there. They still wrap newspapers in string in Wales. Do they? Oh, I'm quite glad about that. Twine dye, great, less bulky than adding twine. Absolutely, yeah, if you think about your postage, that's going to be a lot easier for you. Now, let's just add these. See, my bird legs are going to fit just on there. And it's just flying through the air. Oh, that's a snowman song, isn't it? Mustn't sing. So I'm going to put these at an angle, just like so, and then the bird's going to have a piece of foam tape on him or her as well. Oops. And lastly, where's my glue? A little bit of glue just on the feet, because that needs to sit directly over the twine. There we go. Oops, I didn't take the backing off the foam. That's why it's not sticking. Put that back on there. There we go. There we go. So we have our bird. You can pop a sentiment down here as well. We have our bird flying off. Now this is great if someone's going back to university or off to university, or starting a new job, or starting school, or is a teacher maybe. Anything like that. I just think that's really good fun and a different way you can use those book dies. So let's have a quick look at the card. Obviously we've done that. We've done the book page just as a page. We used the heart as well. Just a really contemporary, modern, sort of bright blast of colour there for that one. And then we used the birds again and did some ink blending in the background to create the easel card. So there's all of those. Let's come back, because I have a very important job. of picking it always worries me that I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to have a big smear of ink over my face or something that I haven't noticed because I've not been in shot, and as soon as I come into the camera I'm like, oh, I've got ink. Okay, so now I've got you on my phone. I'm just going to scroll through and I'm going to look at you and I'm just going to go right, the nearest, where I've just put my thumb, the nearest person who's commented there. Oh, I don't want to delete the comment. The nearest person okay, Debbie Main. Debbie Main said the owl from Winnie the Pooh is great. Owls are one of her favourite birds. Do you know what? You would have got bonus points there for saying a book as well. Winnie the Pooh were great books, weren't they? And an owl. So Debbie, you've won the entire collection. Congratulations for you. I know you regularly watch, so there's a thank you from me to you. Please do let us have, I'm pretty sure we've probably already got it as you're such a regular watcher, but please do send me your address. Either you can send it to me on my own social media, you can message the CraftStash Facebook page, or you can email customer service at craftstash.co.uk and I'll get your prize out to you. So thank you so much to everybody for watching. Don't forget you can pick up the collection over at CraftStash. Here's the address. There'll be lots of other videos and inspiration coming up for you very, very soon. I'll photograph these cards as well and get those uploaded on my social media, so you can find me at just Lou Collins on Facebook or Paper Crafting with Lou Collins on YouTube. Please subscribe and such, so you can see lots of inspiration there. And of course you're going to get your free ephemera if you are spending over £30. Don't put it into your basket. Go ahead to check out. It should pop up and say, do you want to have this in? There's lots of other deals, of course, on CraftStash too. And next Wednesday, the whole CraftStash team are getting together. So Sam Calcott, Christina Griffiths, Helen Griffin, there's myself, there's Sheena Douglas. All of us, we're all getting together up at head office on Wednesday. But we have already filmed Helen Griffin's brand new launch for you. It's her Halloween launch. You'll catch that on Wednesday at 12:30. Please join us, live, not live. We're not pretending we're live. But please join us there because, again, there's going to be the chance to win some of her products, and she does some amazing projects too. It's absolutely wonderful. So we'll kind of see you there, and I'll see you again back here next Friday too. So take care and have an absolutely wonderful and hopefully crafty weekend, everybody. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.